I wasn't supposed to hear that conversation. I had just turned 18. I stood outside my parents' office door, holding the acceptance letter to my dream university, waiting for the right moment to tell them I'd earned a scholarship. Then I heard my father laugh. "Tomorrow she leaves, finally." My mother's voice followed. "And don't forget to change the locks." I froze. At first, I thought they were talking about someone else. Then my father said my name. "We've done enough for her. She's 18 now. She's on her own." My hands started shaking. The acceptance letter slipped from my fingers. I didn't even realize I was crying until my mother opened the door. She looked at me, looked at the letter on the floor, and didn't say a single comforting word. Instead, she smiled. "I guess you heard." That was the day my parents threw me out. I had one backpack, $83, nowhere to go, and absolutely no idea that 20 years later, their own lawyer would be begging me to come back. I grew up believing family meant forever, even when my parents barely treated me like their daughter. My older brother Daniel could do no wrong. If he broke something, it was an accident. If I broke something, I was irresponsible. Daniel got birthday parties. I got homemade cards. Daniel got a car at 16. I got told buses existed for a reason. Every holiday, every achievement, every family photo, I felt like someone they tolerated instead of loved. Still, I kept trying. Children always believe if they work hard enough, their parents will finally love them. I studied harder, worked part-time, won academic awards, graduated at the top of my class. Nothing changed. Every compliment ended with, "But Daniel needs us more." Every dollar went to him. Private school, sports, college, failed business ideas, luxury apartment. Meanwhile, I bought my own clothes, paid my own school trips, even saved lunch money to afford college applications. The scholarship I earned wasn't just a ticket to university. It was my escape. Or so I thought, because I never imagined. My parents had already decided I wasn't part of their future. The morning after my birthday, 2 suitcases waited by the front door. Not packed by me, packed by my mother. She handed me an envelope. Inside, $83 in cash, my birth certificate, and a note. "You are an adult now. Good luck." No hugs, no tears, no goodbye. My father didn't even come downstairs. Daniel watched TV while I carried my bags outside. He didn't help. He didn't stop me. He simply said, "Don't come back asking for money." Then the front door closed, and I heard the lock click. That sound stayed with me for years, because it wasn't just a door locking. It was my parents deciding I no longer existed. The first weeks were brutal. I slept in cheap hostels until the money disappeared. Then I started sleeping in the university library. I showered at the campus gym, worked evenings at a diner, cleaned offices after midnight, studied until sunrise. Sometimes I was so hungry, I'd drink water just to stop my stomach hurting. I never told anyone. Pride can be expensive, but pity costs even more. One rainy evening, my manager noticed I hadn't eaten. Without saying anything, she slid a plate of leftover food toward me. "It's going in the trash anyway." We both knew she was lying. I cried in the restaurant bathroom. Not because of the food, because a stranger showed me more kindness than my own parents ever had. That night, I made myself one promise. No matter how successful I became, no one around me would ever feel unwanted. Years passed. Slowly, life changed. I graduated, found an entry-level job at a financial consulting firm, worked longer hours than anyone else, volunteered for impossible projects, learned everything I could, made mistakes, learned again. Eventually, a senior partner noticed. He became my mentor. He once told me, "Talent opens doors. Character keeps them open." Those words became my compass. By 35, I had become one of the youngest partners in the company. By 40, I had started my own investment firm, not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted freedom. Money wasn't my goal anymore. Security was. I bought a quiet home, helped students with scholarships, created emergency housing programs for teenagers abandoned by their families. Every person I helped felt like I was helping the 18-year-old version of myself. The girl nobody came back for. During those 20 years, my parents never called. Not once. No birthday messages. No Christmas cards. Nothing. Friends occasionally mentioned seeing them around town. Daniel had opened businesses, closed businesses, borrowed money, lost money, borrowed again. Apparently, my parents kept rescuing him, selling investments, taking loans, refinancing their home. Every mistake he made, they fixed. Every consequence, they absorbed. I wasn't surprised. Golden children rarely grow up, because someone always protects them from reality. Then one Tuesday morning, my assistant knocked on my office door. "There's a lawyer waiting to see you." I frowned. "I don't have an appointment. He says it's personal." An elderly man entered carrying a leather briefcase. He looked nervous, almost uncomfortable. He introduced himself, then said 6 words. "I represent your parents." 20 years disappeared in an instant. I simply stared at him. He took a deep breath. "They asked me to find you." I left. Actually left. 20 years later, he lowered his eyes. "They're asking for your help." I leaned back in my chair. No. He hadn't even explained why. I already knew my answer. The lawyer didn't leave. Instead, he quietly placed several documents on my desk. Hospital bills, mortgage notices, debt statements, foreclosure warnings. Everything my parents owned was disappearing. Daniel had convinced them to invest in another business. He forged signatures, emptied accounts, disappeared overseas, leaving them responsible for millions in debt. My parents had lost nearly everything. Their home, their retirement, their savings. The lawyer finally whispered, "They have nowhere else to go." Funny. Those words sounded familiar, because 20 years earlier, neither had I. He asked if I would at least meet them. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Not because they deserved it, because I deserved closure. We met in the lawyer's office. My parents looked 20 years older, smaller, fragile. My mother cried the moment she saw me. My father couldn't meet my eyes. Silence filled the room. Finally, my mother whispered, "We made mistakes." I waited. She kept talking. "We thought Daniel would take care of us." Not, "We're sorry." Not, "We were wrong." Just, "We chose the wrong child." That hurt more than anything. Even now, They weren't apologizing for losing me. They were apologizing for making a bad investment. Then my father finally spoke. "We need help." There it was. The real reason I had been invited. Not love. Not regret. Need. He slid papers across the table. "If you pay these debts, we can save the house." I looked at the documents, then looked at the two people who had once locked me outside without hesitation. The room waited for my answer. I remembered sleeping on library floors, working double shifts, crying over leftover food. I remembered every birthday they forgot, every achievement they ignored, every door they closed. Then I quietly asked one question. If Daniel walked through that door right now, would you still choose him? Neither of them answered. They didn't have to. Their silence told me everything. I stood up. "I won't pay your debts." My mother burst into tears. My father looked defeated. But before anyone spoke, I continued. "I won't rescue you from the consequences of your choices." The lawyer looked disappointed. Then I reached into my own folder. I did bring something. I handed the lawyer another set of papers. They weren't checks. They weren't loan agreements. They were documents transferring ownership of a small apartment, paid in full. Enough money for modest living expenses, medical insurance, monthly support, everything they needed. Not everything they wanted. I looked at them calmly. "I won't buy back the childhood you threw away. But I also won't become the kind of person you were. You'll have a safe place to live. You won't be homeless. But your debts, those belong to you." For the first time in my life, my father cried, real tears. Not because he lost his house, because he finally understood. Kindness isn't inherited, it's chosen. As I walked toward the door, the lawyer stopped me. There was one more thing. He handed me a small envelope. Inside was a faded photograph. It showed 18-year-old me, standing outside the house with two suitcases. Someone had taken it through the living room window. On the back, my mother had written, "I hope one day she'll forgive us." I stared at those words for a long time. Then, I smiled sadly. Forgiveness isn't pretending the past never happened. It's refusing to let the past control your future. I walked away, not with revenge, not with anger, but with peace. Because the greatest victory wasn't becoming richer than my parents. It wasn't watching them lose everything. It was building a life so full of love that the people who once abandoned me could never take another piece of it. If you've ever been rejected by the people who were supposed to protect you, remember this. Your beginning is not your destiny. Sometimes the family that breaks you is the reason you become strong enough to build a better one. And sometimes, the phone call you've waited your whole life to receive doesn't change your life at all. It simply reminds you how far you've already come.